Ingama zine bosi wo. Ingama zine bosi wo.
Gulira chemical fad ngena kutabukira gwe nenyoko jali agena kutya mugwe. Nze ndi mpa abantu ekitibwa gwe chemical fad negwe sikwala dine kitibwa. Sikwepe nchaba badde wano. Lwaki badde sogera. Sikwepe nchaba badde ko mbadde ko lwaki badde sogera. Lwaki go zendo gedde. Oli kidongo tera ne kimu kyomanyi bagenda koyesa nsobi. Kati kankubulire ne basikwepe nchaba boli mu bagenda kwekubira boko kennyini. Babagamba ne mwana osusso kwasama.
Wetegereze. Nze ngamba gwagenda okwatawo, mugenda kwatawo sawa yonna. Mugenda kwatawo ansi sawa yonna mwe buddogo. Kati musibi kikankubire ku bibuuzo. Obwo buddogo obulaba? Obwo buddogo obulaba obwo? Buyina abasajja babadde buzole abali ba top. Obwo baba buyinako obusungu obwo buddogo. Kati kano kambirizi bbiri buno.
Kati ekira kyanyawo kati muli kusaidia Uncle P muli wa moba muli independent kati.
Siri kusaidia Uncle P nze kusaidia ya gladiator the emperor. Scorpion Shaba nobody gambayo. Tewaja tugamba anti generation empire tewaja tugamba.
Kati anigwe mwaliseyo kukabira kubanga kati ono yejja ali akyali opanisha.
Kati yasobola kukola kingana katika kunyumiza emboozi yoyo. Namufumitira akakudi kati sinati talina kyasobola kunkola omuntu wakufumitira nga sumbi aba kusinze. Gwe musibi kyo omuntu ayinza kukola kyekyo kuzola ekiri top ekisobola okukuluma kankibuuze goli musajja.
Era nange waliwo yanzindira omukazi kyannuma kyaba ekyekyo kyekisinga.
Golabya akyegaana. Goloza omukazi ayinza okuwa omudongo akasolo kankubuuze nawe ngamba.
Simanyi sisobola wali okeberayo labo waliyo sumbuso olabe sumbuso oba yanyama oba yakawo.
Ate omukazi wampamu esi nkwatemu atayinza okungamba nti kira nagenda okukwatamu ng'omubiri we takyusa bulungi oyiro. Babeera bayimba na ndido ampita omusiya ebusi kiralinnyimbyeko n'endido. Nenga ndido yo mumanyi.
Simumanyi ndido simumanyi. Bali balimba batya?
Ndido mpaku dirudo. Ndido kati mwana mbayimbi bonna nalabaga kolabo emeya ino gituulamu. Omeya yaba bukusaya ku laptop ya makundi galabika. Va kubina ebyekiniga byetukubamu MC kinga boxeri bwero ebyo birala. Kwavire tubikula makundi. Obo ntegede mukulu wange.
Ntegeera.
Makundi gali ndido mpako dirudo omeya inoga nakola kolabo naye mwana. Mbona yeyita munigo oyo. Bubanonya. Abo badogo bayinza okunoonya abo.
Ne twalabye video nga muli mu kibuga ngera oli eyo bwanzi we nabirabidde nze nadisi.
Nagenda yo sande nvuddeyo leero badogo nga bunaku nsiba mpanda enfulumasti paka we nagude kutina kidogo bate cyane kino ki promoter cyane ekimpromoting ekyo. Nobati nakisanze mu mutaasa. Obula naye kidongo kyefumisa akayumba abanaye. Fete tuli babbi babantu mwana kyanyerese ate nga nedduka we kigezezo okutu mwe kyefumise natundanga mu radio we nakwatiranga radio nga lya boyi wange. Dozo kwata radio kutegedde we nakagoberanga kiki.
Kategedde nange nagoberawo kaawo ku mutaasa.
Kati anko weke ffe tuli basajja ba top ate Scorpion kunza atabuka. Ate nange kenyini ntabuka nange manyo okwekuuma. Odoga
agambe nti mwani mwagala sente ezitabagwanidde okuva ku kivulu. Nti mwasaba sente naye nga teziba nti kwegamba bayite balina kubawa sente.
Ekyo kyo nkyeganye nze sente nazisaba ne sasaba sente za kivulu. Basaba zile zaffe ze baatuwa biliyoni 2.
Baba wa biliyoni meka?
Ibamwa biliyoni 2 oyo mudongo. Ya fikizi. Tawulira akonga Juliata akatambi nga fiki amugamba nti ono mudongo nze mubalako bochi nawe ino mulamwa gwa bochi. Toka ujja nko ka sound yako. Nga fiki agamba zona ali nawe mudongo. Jasi aina mubezi mulamwa gwa bochi. Nga Julia mugamba mwana beda mugaza salawo. Oboka uli dako. Kati ekyo kubirereki.
Ekitegeza government yabatemera kwegamba
okabose ekyo kubiri mani leki kyensobola okugamba nze ndi anirule siyinza kuvunamira Gaza nvunamira Alien kati bonna mba bafudde buniero bwankoko. Nze ndi mafia anka kuzazanya emizanyo ne bali abasajja ba top shata mu City Kampala n'emiriraano wakati emisana tukuno obudde nga buzibye ontegedde
nkutegedde
City satisa abantu wena bakanakana kasamba samba obugere tekalabangana ku byenda bya muntu tweba boyi bafefe nga baba.
Finally a bit of touch. Deflected off Cash and out of play. A Club Brugge throw down by the corner flag on the far side of the field. 0-0 on the night. Villa 3-1 to the good on aggregate.
Yeah, well, concentration is key, isn't it? All these Aston Villa players have got to stay in a position, stay nice and solid. You know that Club Brugge are going to try and take the game to them in the early stages, and this is where you have to stay switched on, do your jobs.
It is a very cold night in the second city. Long throw into the Villa penalty area, spins off the head of Matty Cash. There's a foul, free kick. Villa. Meanwhile, let's get news of a goal in the Madrid derby in the Champions League tonight. Talk Sports' Toby Gillis.
Atletico Madrid 1, Real Madrid 0. We have parity on aggregate, and the ball was played down the right hand side for Rodrigo de Paul. Early cross came in, it was missed by Simeone, but it fell on the edge of the 6-yard box to Conor Gallagher, surely the biggest goal of his career so far, giving Atleti the lead on the night. Atletico Madrid 1, Real Madrid 0, 2 all on aggregate.
Astonishing, the former Chelsea man putting Atletico Madrid in front on the night, as Toby was saying, and the first of many twists and turns doubtless in the Champions League this evening. There won't be too many twists and turns in North London, of course, because Arsenal are basically through already. Very cagey and quiet and leaden-footed start to this game. No pace on it whatsoever. Villa with Martinez at walking pace. It's like a chess match in the early stages, Mickey Gray.
Yes, absolutely. They're being very patient, as I already mentioned, Aston Villa, and there's going to be no rush until they have to, till they can get themselves that little opportunity.
Mignolet hammers the ball high downfield. The former Liverpool goalkeeper, a raking ball towards Van Aken, the captain who flicks it on. No. The pacey Florian Jutgler and Aston. The ball back in their left back position with Maatsen, who stumbles feeds Rashford midway inside his own half, and back it goes to Tyrone Mings, and Aston Villa keep easy possession, playing from right to left in the first half. Early stages in the 4th minute, and it is Aston Villa 0, Club Brugge 0, and maybe a sense in the way the two teams are setting up, Mickey, that there's an awareness that the next goal, if it comes for Aston Villa, pretty much ends the tie as a contest, but if Club Brugge get it, then it makes things very interesting.
Yeah, and again, you know,
Benitez. Zinchenko seems to be almost playing that more advanced midfield role. He He's almost pressing as a striker like Martin Odegaard does usually for Arsenal. Rice and Jorginho sitting behind him. It's Bakayoko though for PSV as they have beaten that pressure. Zinchenko out on the right, he gives it to Ledesma. 1-2 with Perisic who comes short. Ledesma fizzes it back to Obispo. Good spell of yes, it has. Raya goes to collect. Good spell that from PSV though, as I say. Pressing as a striker like Martin Odegaard does usually for Arsenal. Rice and Jorginho sitting behind him. It's Bakayoko though for PSV as they have beaten that pressure. Zinchenko out on the right, he gives it to Ledesma. 1-2 with Perisic who comes short. Raya takes the kick to Gabriel and gets it back. Now goes long for Mikel Merino. Flick on for Kieran Tierney. Cleared by Ledesma. Sterling picked it up. Nice reverse pass by him for Zinchenko. He's fouled, but referee waves play on Zinchenko to the edge of the box. Lines up a shot. Zinchenko!
Malacia and found Zinchenko. Zinchenko playing in the inside right position. Cuts across and then curls it. Just outside the penalty box. Gets across Obispo and Nagalo and just finds the inside of the side netting of Benitez's net. And Arsenal stretch their lead to 8-1 on aggregate. But it's just an absolutely quality goal by Zinchenko. And if PSV Eindhoven wanted a little bit of a start, a little bit of a toehold in the game, well, that's literally completely and utterly disappeared. Obispo has the ball. 12 yards outside his penalty area. PSV defend the goal away to my right, and I face the pitch. 2 technical areas just beneath my tootsies. And Malacia received the ball on the halfway line. Babadi back to Obispo, square to Nagalo. As I say, just in the back line. The 2 centre-halves totally new. They came in this time in place of Boscagli and Flamingo, who were there in the first leg, but they have been replaced by Nagalo. Shoughton, Ledesma, over on this near side, over the halfway line goes Obispo. Obispo looks down the right of Arsenal's defence. Good take on here. White's got to get there, but he doesn't. Hillier comes across, and Driouech gets the first corner of the game, and it goes the way of PSV. Jakub Kiwior having to get across. Ben White was just a little bit out of position, lifted over the top of his head. And the run-in on this near side by Driouech got himself inside that. Corner, goal away to my left-hand side. Going to be swung in from the left corner, right down by the left shoulder of me, feigned by the corner taker. 9th minute of the game. Referee Radu Obrenovic just having a word with Miles Lewis Skelly. He seems to have been a little bit hands-on at the back post. PSV trail by a goal to nil. 9th minute of the game here. Ledesma about to curl this in. The right back going to curl it in underneath the crossbar. First person at the front post clears it away with a waist-high volley is Declan Rice. Malacia all the way back from just about inside his own half to Benitez. First time ball out to Shoughton, back out to Malacia, who faces the Arsenal goal. Cut off by Alexander Zinchenko. Ball goes back to the keeper Walter Benitez away to my right hand side. Forward, short pass this time by Nagalo. A little bit of twist and a turn there by Gustil, but it goes back to Nagalo and out to Ledesma. PSV Eindhoven getting their foot on the ball, but
Life is a hustle, and you're always on the go. You require the right data bundle to keep you connected with.
And it's gone for another corner to PSV Eindhoven, their second. Although it looks as though the PSV fans, 3,000 in the house tonight. Apparently the mood before the game was, hey, we're 7-1 down, look, we're still here, we're going to party. And party they are doing. Goal kick was given in the end, double ricochet. Arsenal take the goal kick away to my left-hand side. 11 minutes on the clock. Arsenal 1, PSV Eindhoven 0. Goal scored by Alexander Zinchenko with a fine strike on 6 minutes. And it really was a fine finish. Cut from his right onto his left, 19 yards out. And curled it past the two centre-halves. And the goalkeeper Benitez into the goal away to my right-hand side as I look up. Ball is picked up. Perisic. Short pass. Out on the far side, back to Nagalo, cross to Obispo, 3 yards inside the PSV half, which is to the right of the halfway line as I face the pitch. A little give and go on this near side, and Babadi tries to wander infield, does so, but his ball back to the halfway line to played across to Armando Obispo. I think I'll just stick with the O's there. Round the corner this time down the line. Ben White blocked. And it's going to be a throw which he will take quickly. Throws it back to the halfway line from 10 yards inside the Arsenal half, which is to the left of the halfway line. Finds a bit. Benitez back out to Obispo. Back to Benitez. Good press by Arsenal here. Benitez can play it out to the left back Malacia. Malacia in field really gave a little bit of a hospital ball there to Jerdy Schouten, who plays it back after getting away from Zinchenko. Short pass to the edge of the box to Nagalo. Into Obispo. Malacia exchanging passes. Nice tidy play this. Here we are. First touch by Zinchenko wasn't good. Nice ball forward. Finds Drioech. Faced up by Gabriel Magalhaes. Lovely back heel. Would have found Perisic, but it looks as though that would have been 1 offside. And 2, as the ball is harmlessly allowed to run by him by Perisic. Goes away for a goal kick. To Arsenal, away to my left-hand side. Just getting a replay on our monitors here. Afforded here. It's a wonderful left-footed finish by Alexander Zinchenko, who apologises to the PSV fans. He was, mustn't forget, he made his mind up, or I wouldn't say made his mind up, but made his footballing career out of being in the youth system and an attacking midfielder for Shakhtar Donetsk back in the day. So we'll be well versed with slipping the ball into the back of the net. Difficult night for me. See how my side are doing, that's for sure. But we have a live football here. Not a foregone conclusion. Could be double figures. PSV with a lot of pride to play for. We are out to the left back, Miles Skelly. Or should I say Lewis Skelly. Back to Magalhaes. Square to Kiwior. Lip of the centre circle, Arsenal side of the pitch. Out to the right back, Ben White, making his return from injury. Further out to the man who plays on the right of a front attacking 3, Raheem Sterling. He doesn't garner any yards. Goes back to White. Now it's into Zinchenko. Zinchenko across on this near side, but strong challenge comes in before Sterling can get there by Malacia. It's going to be a throw to Arsenal midway inside the half of PSV Eindhoven, who defend a goal away to my right-hand side. Peter Posch, corner of his technical area, to the right of the halfway line, down beneath the camera vantage point. Thrown in, but missed by Mourinho. To Ben White, 12 yards inside the half of PSV Eindhoven, down on this near side to Raheem Sterling, who falls on the ball after a rather close bodily contact with Tiro Malacia. Free kick given. Sterling, Zinchenko, out to Mourinho, across the face of goal, 12 yards across the face of goal of PSV Eindhoven. Arsenal trying to go off his toe. Breaks his time to Tierney waits. Nagalo with a foot in. Marino with a foot in. Ledesma losing out to Declan Rice. Declan Rice breaks down to the dead ball line of PSV away to my right. Stops it. Rolls it back to Kieran Tierney. Tierney into the feet of Lewis Skelly. Back now to Kiwior. To White. Arsenal playing it across the front of PSV Eindhoven in the half away to the right of the halfway line. Into Sterling. Sterling to Zinchenko. Lovely reverse ball, but now we have Marino, who is more of a defensive midfielder, not really running like an attacker and running into the space as the ball is played forward. And Gabriel Mahales goes through the back of Ivan Perisic, about 10 yards inside the half of PSV Eindhoven, and it remains here after 15 minutes. Arsenal 1, PSV Eindhoven 0. Goal sort of caught me out. It's a fine finish by Alexander Zinchenko, who has got a bit of a spring in his step, like a man who's got a goal behind him. PSV, Nagalo, Obispo. Laid forward to Till. Till finds Bakayoko. Bakayoko back to Nagalo, 12 yards, 15 yards. Comes forward with the ball, lip of the centre circle. PSV side of the pitch to the right of the halfway line. Obispo square this time to Nagalo, who can't control it. Ledesma tidies up. Schouten to Gustil. Gustil to Bakayoko. 12 yards, tighten that far touchline. Gets away from Tierney. Flicks it inside. Perisic right in the corner. Lewis Miles Skelly will just ask me to put his name in the right order, which is Miles Lewis Skelly. Anyway, goal kick has been given for Arsenal and taken quickly. Then White has it on the near side. Crossfield ball's really poor. Goes straight to Bakayoko. Bakayoko with a first time shot. Just literally dips over the crossbar away to my left-hand side of David Raya, who put his hand up, but I think he always had it covered there. Arsenal tried to play it short. Jorginho found Kiwior. Kiwior made it to White. White back to Kiwior, who didn't want it, and his ball straight through the heart of his own penalty area. Found Isaac Bakayoko, whose shot just flashed over the top of the crossbar. But that really would have been all of Arsenal's own making, should that have resulted in a goal. Babadi, lovely ball through to Teal. Teal gets a shot off to Perisic. It's 1-1. The Spurs man puts it in the top corner. It's a lovely finish by Ivan Perisic, who's playing through the centre of a 3 for PSV. 90th minute of the game, and Perisic fires it high past David Raya. Peter Bosch is unmoved. Well, what a goal that was again. Raya with the lump forward. Brought down by a good header by Obispo. Bounds the feet of Babadi. Babadi finds Jordi. As Malacia tries to run away on this near side from Sterling, almost gets to the halfway line, plays it back.
Off a bit.
From the edge of the...
Zinchenko not going for a second ball there. Till receives a through ball, and Arsenal's defence all over the place.
Corner from the edge of the 18-yard box.
He's able to find, with the outside of his right boot, the pass inside of Perisic. He's just behind the penalty spot. It's a really awkward one, actually, because his touch just gets caught in his feet, Perisic. No time to take another with Gabriel bearing down on him, and he just hooks it with his left foot while still sort of leaning over, and manages to lift it into the top right corner. Great finish. 1-1 on the night, 8-2 on aggregate to Arsenal. 19 minutes played. Here's a through ball for Driouche, who curls a shot just wide of the mark. Well, we barely got the ball back in play from the Arsenal kickoff. PSV win it back, through ball for Driouche, who gets the better side of Ben White. Curls a shot. I'm not sure if perhaps Raya gets fingertips to that, but it's... Yeah, he does, Raya. Makes a great save, in fact. That one's bending into the far corner. PSV aren't messing about here. Arsenal need to wake up. Ledesma takes the corner. It's not a great corner. It's hooked clear at the near post by Mikel Merino. And the referee anyhow had seen a foul in there by Till. So calls it back for the Arsenal free kick. Forward to Declan Rice, who's offside. PSV free kick taken quickly. Goes for an Arsenal throw in on the right, Ben White to take. Back it goes to Kivior. Just see that moment of awkwardness for him. Delaying going up the line on his right foot. Looked to go back to Raya inside. Perisic closed the angle down and the ball up the line. Wasn't a great one, but it has fallen to his teammate. And Arsenal now get forward out to the left for Kieran Tierney. Cross takes a nick off Ledesma into the arms of Walter Benitez, the goalkeeper. Benitez with a launch of an overarm throw out to Malacia, just knocks it back to Obispo. Magalo. Benitez, Obispo, Malacia. Ball out, comes back PSV's way. Obispo deals with it under pressure from Sterling, back towards Benitez. Driouche is still down holding his face. I think the referee's going to have to call attention to this as a head injury if he sees it. Yes, he has, and he's stopped the play. I'm sure if Driouche perhaps caught an arm or something and competing for the prior long ball. Gabriel helps him up, he seems to be okay. Yeah, as the ball looks like it's going to come back Arsenal's way, Gabriel runs across the face of Driouche, just catches him with an outstretched arm, I think. Doesn't look intentional. Driouche seems to be okay with it. PSV receive the ball back through a drop to Walter Benitez. Magalo, back to Benitez. Obispo. Malacia. Up the line. Ben White puts Driouche under pressure and forces the touch out of play. Thrown for Arsenal in an attacking position. Skelly is fouled as he turns on the halfway line. Lewis Skelly receives from Jorginho at the free kick. White out to Zinchenko. Kivior back to Raya. White up the line, cut out by Malacia, and out for an Arsenal throw-in. White to take on the halfway line. Mikel Arteta is of course out of his technical area, barking orders as White throws it back to Kivior. And it goes over to the left to Gabriel. Back to White from Kivior. White looks up the line. Marino is pulled out wide and receives it. Back to Kivior. Jorginho on the turn. White. Inside to Kivior. Gabriel. White and Jorginho is changing passes, goes back to Kivior again. Gabriel to Rice. Back to Kivior, inside the Arsenal half again. Now Ben White. Jorginho screaming for it and waving his arms, but it goes wide to the right to Zinchenko instead. Zinchenko dribbles back towards the halfway line and knocks it to Declan Rice. Jorginho to Sterling on the right. Jorginho again. Sterling continues his run. Jorginho turns inside instead. Zinchenko is giving an option. Receives it. Back to Jorginho. Gives back to Kivior. Gabriel. Marino up the line for Tierney. Cross. Malacia wins in the air at the back post. Sterling was the target, but Malacia's looping header was into the arms of his goalkeeper in the end. Kick by Walter Benitez. Intercepted by Ben White. To Zinchenko. Zinchenko looked like he might shape up another of those shots, but gives it left to Tierney instead. Rice fizzes it back to Lewis Skelly. Gabriel. Gabriel now on the run towards goal. Knocks it to Tierney on the touchline. Back it goes down the line to Lewis Skelly again. Jorginho had a run from Gabriel, but gives it to Zinchenko instead. And to Sterling on the right. Sterling 1-2 with Ben White. Shoots on his left, it's blocked. White manages to nick in and get the touch to keep Arsenal in possession out of the pitch. Well, that's a poor infield pass by Zinchenko straight into the path of Perisic, but his touch gets away from him and gets to Gabriel. Kivior to Gabriel again, bringing it forward. Has a run from Lewis Skelly. Instead touches it left to Declan Rice. Fizzed to the edge of the box from Mikel Marino. Lovely little flick for Lewis Skelly. Oh, and his efforts hit the post after a touch from Walter Benitez. He chased it down, Lewis Skelly, to try and get the crucial touch. You could see that it was just going to trickle close to the post, and in the end does hit the post. It goes out for a corner. Lovely touch by Mikel Marino. There's a little bit of fortune about it. In fact, Marino touches it onto Nagalo, and it then falls into the path of Lewis Skelly. Gets there before the keeper, touches it towards goal, and just onto the post. Corners that come from the left for Arsenal. Declan Rice will take. Rice swings to the back post. Marino wins it. Nods it back inside, but nobody on the end of that one. They'll go out for a goal kick. Down the right goes Bakayoko, dribbling inside well. Lewis Skelly eventually switched off a bit. Zinchenko not going for a second ball there. Till receives a through ball, and Arsenal's defence all over the place. He's able to find, with the outside of his right boot, the pass inside of Perisic. He's just behind the penalty spot. It's a really awkward one, actually, because his touch just gets caught in his feet, Perisic. No time to take another with Gabriel bearing down on him, and he just hooks it with his left foot while still sort of leaning over, and manages to lift it into the top right corner. Great finish. 1-1 on the night, 8-2 on aggregate to Arsenal. 19 minutes played. Here's a through ball for Driouche, who curls a shot just wide of the mark. Well, we barely got the ball back in play from the Arsenal kickoff. PSV win it back. Through ball for Driouche, who gets the better side of Ben White. Curls a shot. I'm not sure if perhaps Raya gets fingertips to that, but yeah, he does, Raya. Makes a great save, in fact. That one's bending into the far corner. PSV aren't messing about here. Arsenal need to wake up. Ledesma takes the corner. It's not a great corner. It's hooked clear at the near post by Mikel Merino. And the referee anyhow had seen a foul in there by Till. So calls it back for the Arsenal free kick. Forward to Declan Rice, who's offside. PSV free kick taken quickly. Driouche there just turned into trouble, and out it goes for an Arsenal throw in on the right. Ben White to take. Back it goes to Kivior. Just see that moment of awkwardness for him. Delaying going up the line on his right foot. Looked to go back to Raya inside. Perisic closed the angle down, and the ball up the line Wasn't a great one, but it has fallen to his teammate, and Arsenal now get forward out to the left for Kieran Tierney. Cross takes a neck off Ledesma into the arms of Walter Benitez, the goalkeeper. Benitez with a launch of an overarm throw out to Malacia, just knocks it back to Obispo. Magalo. Benitez, Obispo, Malacia. One ball out. Comes back PSV's way. Obispo deals with it under pressure from Sterling. Back towards Benitez. Driouche is still down holding his face. I think the referee's going to have to call attention to this as a head injury. If he sees it. Yes, he has, and he's stopped the play. Sure if Driouche perhaps caught an arm or something and competing for the prior long ball. Gabriel helps him up. He seems to be okay. Yeah, as the ball looks like it's going to come back Arsenal's way, Gabriel runs across the face of Driouche, just catches him with an outstretched arm, I think. Doesn't look intentional. Driouche seems to be okay with it. PSV received the ball back through a drop to Walter Benitez. Magalo, back to Benitez. Obispo. Malacia. Up the line. Ben White puts Driouche under pressure and forces the touch out of play. Thrown for Arsenal in an attacking position. Skelly is fouled as he turns on the halfway line. Lewis Skelly receives from Jorginho at the free kick. White out to Zinchenko. Kibio back to Raya. White up the line, cut out by Malacia, and out for an Arsenal throw-in. White to take on the halfway line. Mikel Arteta is of course out of his technical area, barking orders as White throws it back to Kivior. And it goes over to the left to Gabriel. Back to White from Kivior. White looks up the line. Marino is pulled out wide and receives it. Back to Kivior. Jorginho on the turn. White. Inside to Kivior. Gabriel. White and Jorginho is changing passes, goes back to Kivior again. Gabriel to Rice. Back to Kivior, inside the Arsenal half again. Now Ben White. Jorginho screaming for it and waving his arms, but it goes wide to the right to Zinchenko instead. Zinchenko dribbles back towards the halfway line. And knocks it to Declan Rice. Jorginho. To Sterling on the right. Jorginho again. Sterling continues his run. Jorginho turns inside instead. Zinchenko's giving an option. Receives it. Back to Jorginho. Gives back to Kivior. Gabriel. Marino. Up the line for Tierney. Cross. Malacia. Wins in the air at the back post. Sterling was the target, but Malacia's looping header was into the arms of his goalkeeper in the end.
Against David Raya, and the referee has awarded a yellow card here for, I'm not entirely sure what for, but I think it is against Kiwior. Just get a replay in a moment to see what entirely he has been awarded that for. Well, you can see his complaints to his teammates. I think he's given away a free kick, and he doesn't look best pleased, the Polishman.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, it's right in the corner. So Perisic puts one through his legs, and he starts off by pushing and tussling, and then wins the ball. But I don't know if I can only assume it's for the push that subsequently comes after the ball's played through his legs. And yeah, it's Ben White that gives the ball away for Druek, and you watch it and you're screaming at him to shoot. Gabriel is absolutely charging across. I mean, don't take anything away from the centre half. It's a wonderful sliding block, because he's almost certainly preventing a shot on target and a fantastic goal scoring opportunity. But yeah, I think Kyrill's a bit unlucky to pick up a yellow card in this situation, by the way. It was definitely a foul, but the yellow card might be a bit harsh. But a chance for, I think it's shooting to put the ball, no, it's Till to put the ball into the box even.
It will be an in-swinger, almost a corner, as the ball comes in. It's almost on goal. It's headed away by the Arsenal defence. Jorginho was the man who eventually got it away, and Raheem Sterling's breaking here. He's completely away from the PSV defenders. He's one-on-one, running down the goal. He takes his shot and he can't put it past Benitez. Benitez not entirely committed to coming out there, but did enough to make sure that Raheem Sterling didn't have an easy option. And you've got to credit shooting there as well for his defensive work. The skipper never gave up. He always pressured Raheem Sterling. He might not have had the pace to get around him, but it was definitely enough to prevent Raheem Sterling to finish there.
Yeah, and Sterling again, it's almost like he's got too much time, isn't it? And he's always going towards his weaker left foot. He's opted to chip the goalkeeper. I mean, you can't blame him in a situation like this. I mean, the goal won't make a difference to the outcome, but you just wonder if it's the right decision on any other day. You'd have to criticise him for it.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling, obviously known for his important goals, but he's also been known for his teammates on two occasions, of course, and he's not entirely got himself on the score sheet, but you can assume that he'll be thinking about that one, or at least on the training ground. Maybe not keeping him awake at night, but definitely will. I can't imagine any player doesn't want to score, so he'll definitely be wanting to have scored that opportunity, as Bakayoko finds himself on the ball up on the right hand side. Just a little pass between him, Till, and then to Nagalo. He plays it once more to Obispo, and he's looking for some options, of course, not seeing too many, so he plays it into his captain, Shooten. He plays it back to him before playing it into Babadi. He loses our possession, but it is a foul, says the referee. Jorginho getting a little frustrated with that call. He's not entirely happy with that one.
No, not at all. The Italian captain for the Gunners tonight, of course, wasn't happy at all. He's always been one to make his opinion and voice heard, and PSV looking for a long ball forward. It looks like, literally just about to say, it looks like Till was onside, but he wasn't. In fact, it was Ledesma who'd made a run from right back, the American, but linesman's flag went straight up.
Yeah, as soon as you seen him, when the ball was in the air and you seen him so far behind the Arsenal defenders, you could only assume he was offside, but Ledesma seems to think it was closer than I thought, and I'll have to believe him on that, because there's no replay to back up either way. We've just crossed the 45th minute mark, and we've got 1 minute of added time. We've already taken up 10 seconds of those, so it's a easy cruise for Arsenal to going into half-time, 2-1 up in the game and 9-2 up, of course, on aggregate. And Declan Rice is absolutely furious. He's not been given a foul there, but it's, in the eyes of the referee, a good tackle from Till. I have to say, it did look like there was maybe a bit of a coming together, but PSV come away with the ball. Dutchman Cyril Malacia plays it back to Drake, and then to the path of shooting. I've switched it all the way to the right hand side with Ledesma. Now to Bakayoko. Bakayoko with some quick footwork to get himself into the box, but it's good defensive work from the English left back Lewis Skelly, Miles Lewis Skelly, of course. And then Nagalo dispossesses Zinchenko, who's rushing up the pitch to try and score his second goal of the match. But after that, the referee calls that at time. And coming into this game, PSV didn't have too many hopes. They were, of course, quashed by Zinchenko and Declan Rice getting their 2 goals. Perisic, of course, did get a goal in between them, but it's nothing more than a consolation. So that means going in at half-time, it will be Arsenal 2, PSV 1.
So Arsenal find themselves 2-1 up at half-time at the Emirates. The first goal came in just the 6th minute from unlikely candidate Zinchenko. It was good work from Sterling to intercept the header down from Nagalo, and Zinchenko picked the ball up, drove 10 yards towards the edge of the area, cut across and slotted the ball into the bottom left corner with his left foot. An equaliser wasn't too far away though. Perisic